It's a little past 8 p.m. on a Tuesday night. You're at your computer, frustration level peaked, rubbing your eyes and sighing heavily. You're working on a project from your job that has you stretched to wit's end trying to meet a looming deadline. And as it lurks closer and closer, you're seriously doubting your ability to get it done. You've dragged your feet a little at work due to your complete lack of energy lately. In spite of wanting to do a good job, you find you find yourself unable to push past it and feel horribly useless for it. You slide your hands off your face to look at your screen as it beeps at you. Hey, are you there? I really need to talk to someone about something. You feel like you're getting nowhere with your current task and could probably use a break. However, you know that you have a history of getting distracted and then losing motivation to pick something back up again afterwards. What do? Well, I really need to talk to someone about something. Well, remember this guy helping us fall asleep, talking to us about, our depression. I'm not gonna give him the cold shoulder. No, not feeling like I've hit a brick wall with my task, you dumb shit. I just don't want to be an asshole. Hey, what's up? Oh, good, you're there. I just found out I got cheated on. I didn't know what to do. Oh no, that's horrible. Oh, fuck you, Zoe. Fuck you, Zoe Quinn. You bitch. You just. Are you really going to. Uh. I think this is going to. Okay, let's see what it is, but. Fuck you, Zoe Quinn. The two of you talk for a long time and you lend a shoulder to your friend. You give him space to rant, to cry, and most importantly, to be able to voice his inner turmoil. You give him your full attention and talk him through what his options are for what he does next. You keep him from doing something rash. What do you mean you keep him from doing something rash? Oh, dude. No, don't fucking sleep on it. What the? What are you on, people? Before doing anything, just as he departs for bed and thanks you for being there to talk to him. Whoopee. As you close the iron window, you feel horribly sorry for your friend, but happy that you were able to help. It serves as a tangible reminder to you that you're capable of being useful to someone instead of solely being a mess that needs everyone else's help. You build up your work project and find that you're suddenly able to get some solid progress done on it that night. It's a sunny Saturday afternoon. You're in deep thought on the way home from therapy. However, you notice this time that you're not in the same negative feedback loops you usually get trapped in when being this introspective. You realize that although you still have your bad days, your lows aren't quite as low as they used to be. Your antidepressants ball rolls across your dashboard as you take a left turn. You've been on this medication for quite a while now. After a period of trying to few different kinds. Though you still have minor side effects, they've overall become an unnoticed part of your life. You feel as if your life has generally changed for the better recently, and you begin to wonder if you need them anymore. You don't feel as much despair or hopelessness, and you hate yourself a lot less these days. Maybe it's time to stop taking this. You think, I seem to not really need them anymore. What do you do? I would say hard choice, but uh, you feel like you don't need your medication. Probably because your medication is working. It's a good idea to go off the meds in order to, you know, get a sense of the effect the meds are having. No, to check if they really are helping you, but as a test, not just stopping them and fuck it. So, no, we don't know what the go off meds option will actually be, so we're not gonna risk it. You have the realization that you can't be sure if it's a general life change that's making you feel better, or if it's just a sign that the medication is working. You decide against discontinuing your meds. It's not really a lesson you like to learn the hard way, and the side effects of this particular kind are negligible. The next time you see Dora Melville, you tell her about this, she informs you that this is a common train of thought that people who have begun using medication to help them manage their depression experience, and that you've managed to dodge a bullet because it generally ends poorly. See what I told? I'm the best at being depressed. Yeah, she also asks you to talk to her first before making any decisions about your medication in the future, as you should always. Consult a doctor before taking any decision about your medication. Next. How long is this game? Sarah our sleepless Thursday night. You're at Alex's apartment, wide awake in bed as she's sleeping peacefully beside you. She fell asleep hours ago and you've been lying here unable to shut your brain up long enough to fall asleep. You've added the feeling of insecurity about your relationship to the rest of the noise in your head, keeping you up tonight. It was kind of a tense night between the two of you. You arrived after a stressful day at work, and as you made dinner together, you barely said a word. You were stuck in your own head and had a hard time really being present with her as your thoughts turned to all of the ways you feel like you're deficient at being a good person and beating yourself up mentally for each one. She told you she could tell you were in one of your moods and said that she wouldn't push you but missed talking to you as the two of you sat on the couch together. You wanted to tell her how much you love her. Do you love her? Are you sure? But you couldn't make the words come out right and ended up sounding defensive instead. As you lay As you lay there next to her now, you trace your fingers across her arm just lightly enough to not wake her. You still haven't explained your depression to her or how you've started seeing a therapist. Or that you've been taking medication and it's starting to feel more and more like a secret you're keeping instead of something she simply doesn't know about you yet. It's becoming more and more apparent that it's impacting your relationship with her, and you feel guilty about this because you should. Oh, fuck you. However, you're also terrified that if she knew exactly how fucked up you are, that she would leave you. You already worry that she's only with you because she doesn't realize how terrible of a person you are yet, and you're afraid that this would be the final thing to expose you. She stirs in her sleep and squints as she opens her eyes with the confusion that comes with waking up. She asks if you're awake and then if everything is okay. And you tell her the truth. You feel like a jerk for accidentally waking her up, but you're afraid if you put this off any longer that you won't find the strength to tell her everything later. No, actually, everything isn't okay. Can I tell you something important? as I woke you up in the middle of the night to have an important fucking conversation. Yeah, the character is a girl. This is not a male character. This is a female fucking character. Men don't do this. Alex sits up, rubbing the sleep out of her eyes for the rest of the night. You lay by side holding hands as you tell her everything. You tell her how it's more than just feeling sad sometimes, how you feel trapped by your own mind sometimes, how sometimes you feel nothing at all and how you can't shake it off. You tell her how you've started going to therapy, how you feel embarrassed about it, and how it's working out for you. She listens the entire time, occasionally asking questions about how this or that works, or asking you to explain something further. She squeezes your hand and tells you she understands and that she said you didn't tell her sooner. Of course she is. After laying silent for a moment, the weight of what you did hits you. You desperately want her to say something, to tell you how she's feeling about all of this, but you're too afraid of what the answer would be to ask. To start convincing yourself that now that she knows everything she's going to leave, there's no way someone could deal with how you really are. So how can I help? What do you need me to do? She asks. You think for a second, and the answer you come up with fills you with despair. I honestly don't know. I wish I knew how to fix this, but I don't know that you can do anything. I think it's something I just have to live with. She looks at you with sad eyes before kissing you on the forehead. Then I'll live with you. I'll live with it with you. I don't know how you could possibly love me. She rolls over and wraps her arms around your neck. She gonna kill him. Settling her head on top of yours. You don't need to, just know that I do. You're definitely still depressed, but things are getting better. Whatever you're doing seems to be working. You really feel like you're taking steps to affect positive change in your life. You now seem to enjoy seeing your therapist. Between giving you a chance to tell things out and the CBT techniques she shares with you, you find your sessions extremely helpful. You have been taking your medication regularly, and while you were skeptical at first, it's hard to argue with the fact that you're feeling better than you have in a long time. Ugh. It's Friday night and you're laying across your bed feeling pathetic. As you were leaving work tonight, a group of co-workers asked if you wanted to join them for drinks. Feeling antisocial and put on the spot, you declined. You have a habit of doing this. You're often so convinced that you are weird and terrible and that any invitation to hang out with will end up in disappointment for those inviting you. You never feel like you know how to act in group outings, and you feel like a total creep since it seems to come so naturally to anyone who isn't you. You find yourself petrified of breaking some unknown social rule that you don't often go out. Do you feel something? Okay. Now, however, you find yourself alone at home. Your brain has begun telling you how pathetic and sad you are for being unable to just be a normal person and go out with nice people. You can't figure out why you can't just go out and meet people and enjoy yourself. At the same time, you're also feeling like no one would possibly want you to hang out if they really knew you. Because you're dumb and weird anyway. Oh my fucking god with the drama! You try your typical strategy and boot up Netflix to just distract yourself from these feelings, but frustration with yourself builds and you realize you have to do something else with your night, anything else to take your mind off of how awful and lonely you feel right now. I suppose Attic is in jail for stabbing his significant other. It's sort of late to call Alex. She's probably sleeping. Drinking while on medication is not a good idea. What to do? If I go out somewhere alone, maybe there would be a chance to meet somebody. I really want to play with the cat, but your entire apartment feels claustrophobic, as though you're being choked by how isolated you feel, how trapped you feel just being here with yourself. You can't stand to be here any longer, so you grab your coat and just start walking. If you take a walk and get some air, maybe you can get away from the crushing feeling in your chest. You walk for longer than anticipated, headphones on and blaring your favorite track. Before you know it, you've walked over a mile. The entire time your thoughts dart from personal failure to personal failure, and you feel like you're trying to get away from yourself. However, you end up walking long enough that after the initial stress, the static in your head begins to calm down. Instead of being the overbearing noise it was back in the apartment, you settle into a calmer state where you're able to zone out and listen to the music. Your steps into the rhythm in your headphones, and it feels almost as if you're meditating or dancing on the street. The weather threatens to start raining, and you run back to me, managing to catch the very start of a rainstorm. Your calm persists as you arrive back at home and go through the motions of getting ready for bed, and you're able to sleep with relative ease that night. I am the god of depression. It's cold Saturday afternoon. You've just arrived at Alex's apartment and you're happy to finally see her after a week of absence. Due to your schedules not lining up due to work and school. You hug her in the doorway, but she breaks away sooner than normal and sits down on the couch as you take off your sneakers and lay them in the usual place right next to hers. There's something I was hoping we could talk about actually, she says. You instantly worry that you're being blindsided by a breakup conversation to the sudden shift in tone, but she quickly smiles and puts you at ease once she sees all of the color leave your face. It's nothing bad, I promise. With that, she leads you over to the couch and sits on the other end of it facing you. So, I hope this doesn't freak you out, and if you feel like things are going too fast, just tell me. She talks faster than usual and fidgets. We seem to have a lot of weeks like this, and they really suck. I was thinking I'd ask, since things are so strong with us, what are your thoughts on maybe moving in together? It takes a few seconds to sink in, and leaves you a bit shocked when it does. You were worried she wanted to spend less time with you, not more. Do you want to, you ask? Well, yeah, I do. I mean, we'd have to sort out logistics and everything, but those are all things we can take care of. You start to walk through the steps of imagining the two of you living together. You love the thought of being able to wake up next to her every day and seeing her so often. However, the more you picture it, the more a few concerns become apparent. There are things she is insulated from, like the days you don't feel like you can even get out of bed, the nights your medication keeps you from being able to sleep. All of those moments you're stuck staring at the wall, completely out of energy and feeling nothing. How would she handle that? How quickly would she want to get away? So, she starts, what do you think? The last night we were feeling lonely, and now we're wondering if we need another person in our life. Just like more often. Decide to move in regardless of your worries. Well, yes, fuck it. You've been in therapy for some time now and have started to be able to realize that what is a rational fear and what is not. You feel like you might be simply being insecure, and you've already taken steps to discuss your difficulties with Alex in the past, and that she's making an informed decision. Your therapy is working, and you can talk to Dr. Melville about how to manage your depression with a partner living with you at your next session. As she says, you can figure out the rest later. The point is that this is absolutely a thing you want. You're having too hard of a time stifling your excitement at the thought of having her around more, so you blurb your answer out. Yeah, let's do it. Of course. Her face lights up. You cup her face in your hands and kiss her and mentally vow that you are not going to stop living because you have a mental illness. Well, okay. You are determined to take your life back. It's December and you've returned to your parents' house to celebrate the holidays with your family. Out the living room window, you can see a gentle flurry of snow drifting down to meet the pristine blanket of white from yesterday's unexpected Christmas Eve snowfall. And you quietly laugh to yourself at how incredibly cliché it seems. Still, as you sit down to dinner, you can't help but notice how being surrounded by family and the overly kitschy atmosphere your mom's decorations have created have actually made you feel relaxed and almost comfortable. Why do you need to be comfortable? Come on. Almost. Fuck you. Your mom is running around frantically checking the oven and the stockings and just generally trying to family time it up, while your dad sits at the head of the table drinking a beer and laughing with your brother Malcolm. His wife Karen is there too, whom you've always gotten along well with. And your parents even agreed to let you bring your kitten along. She's been darting in and out of people's legs and hopping into laps all night. As you thoughtfully munch away at your turkey, listening to the conversations around you, your thoughts drift back over the last few months. You think about how hard things had gotten, replaying over in your head some of your worst as well as some of your best memories. It seems like all of these things just came to a head over the past few months, with a sudden flurry of relationship turmoil and professional anxiety, social stress, and above all, an omnipresent sense of weight that it seems you have just recently become aware of. You're drawn out of your rev, I don't know this word, by your dad's familiar booming laugh, as some cheesy comment Malcolm made seemed to have hit its mark. Sitting at the table, you're suddenly immensely glad for the chance to be able to ignore everything for an evening and not have to struggle trying to explain yourself at once. Fortunately, everyone seems to be content with laughing at each other's jokes and discussing favorite sports teams, and for a while you think you'll be able to get through dinner without any embarrassing personal intrusions. But no sooner did the thought cross your mind that the table conversation trickles off, leaving a slightly awkward silence to descend upon the dinner. So, how are you doing these days? Your bitch of a mother asks you pointedly. Such a simple question, and one that you seem to have had to answer countless times recently. You take a moment to collect your thoughts, then looking up, you take a deep breath. Well, yeah, so it's over. You've never really thought of yourself as a fighter. Well, fuck you, fighter. And even to say it now, it sounds hokey, but looking back on the past few months to where you are now, it really does feel like you've endured an immense struggle. And you look at where you are now with a sense of something that isn't quite pride. You still hate your job and find it unpleasant, but you're surprised to find that going into work every day is no longer a monumental challenge. You've started adopting some clever techniques like taking short 2 minute breaks every hour to 2 minute breaks every hour. I take like 15 minutes breaks every hour. 2 minutes. Oh, you dumb shit. To break up the monotony, and you now view your job as just 8 short hours of your day. A compartmentalization technique Dr. Melville told you about that you found actually works quite well. You know this job isn't what you want to do for the rest of your life, and you've started actively looking for other positions, even attending a couple of preliminary interviews. You've started making efforts to go out with your friends more. While the social scene still makes you very uncomfortable sometimes, you're more and more able to let yourself just enjoy the company of your friends. In fact, your relationship with many of them has increased over the past little while. You still definitely have days where you flake out or don't feel up to hanging out, but for the most part, your friends are understanding and appreciate your communication. By far the biggest change you've noticed in your life has been in your relationship with Alex. You were terrified of talking to her about everything at first, but looking back, you feel like it's only strengthened your relationship. She was always supportive of you emotionally, but lately the two of you have been even more in sync, and it's really starting to feel like you're building a life together. It even seems like the two of you have been making a more concerted effort to sync up your schedules and have been spending more and more of your downtime with each other. Pretty soon you think moving in together may be a very... We already moved in together, you dumb shit. Dr. Melville has commented on how well you seem to be doing and whether a result of the therapy, the medication, or both, you can't help but agree. Well, that seems to have improved recently. It's sometimes difficult for you to think about the fact that you still have bad days, sometimes even really bad days. They serve as a stark reminder of the fact that this will be something you likely have to deal with for the rest of your life. Depression is a battle, and though you're certainly ahead in the fight, you know the battle isn't ever going to be over. Sometimes even Alex can tell when things are going rough despite your best efforts to the contrary. While you know that your depression can never be cured, you have a very strong support network in your friends and even Malcolm. And armed with the newfound confidence in your friends and family, you accept that though the road may be rocky, it is at very least not solitary. You meet your mom's gaze from across the table and muster up a smile. "I'm good, Mom," you tell her. She says nothing, but you can feel her smile from across the room. We really want to thank you for taking the 3 hours and 24 fucking minutes to play Depression Quest. We realize it may not be the most enjoyable game you think you've ever played, or even the easiest, and we sincerely appreciate your involvement. Like Depression Quest itself, Depression Quest does not have an end. Like Depression itself, Depression Quest does not have an end, really. There is no neat resolution to depression, and it was important to us that Depression Quest's own resolution reflect that. Instead of a tidy ending, we want to just provide a series of outlooks to take moving forward. After all, that's all we can really do with depression. Yes, good job, guys. Tell people to fuck off. No, that's all you can do. You can cope. Fuck you. We want to just provide service. After all, that's all we can really do with depression. Just keep moving forward. And at the end of the day, it's our outlook and support from people just like you that makes all the difference in the world. Thanks again. Credits! Also, it's Zoe Quinn who actually coded this thing. Little Insomniac. Very funny, Zoe. Very funny. WebKit board by... Ah, so you didn't even make the WebKit port yourself. Okay. Okay, okay, so first off, fuck everybody. Music sound by fuck you. Include sample from Twist to whatever, 5 from Pianoware based on fuck you, WebKit port by fuck you, special thanks to. And here is the shocker. Okay, the game isn't... No, it's a 3-hour game, okay? It's 3 hours. So, thank fucker, a list of fuckers to thank, and Christopher whatever for their amazing support during a really difficult time. This game would have been dead in the water months ago without you all. Are they really trying to tell me that the development of this game took months? It took them months, multiple. I can give them a month, you know, because it's a small side project that you just... And there's a lot of text, you know, that's one of their selling points. Oh, there's a ton of text. Yeah, there is a ton of text. It's really fucking padded, you know. There's padding, as in it's not all content. There's just text that some things we didn't need to read there. It just no. Trailer ideas, blanket forts, and depression valentines. For being the internet friend one of us needed to get through some dark times. For being willing to play games that are meant to be something. And you out there thanking me. Oh, games don't need to be fun. They need to be engaging, and Depression Quest is just not engaging. It's a cute story about a cunt or an asshole. I still am confused. Actually, it's a story about a lesbian no matter whether anybody tells you, no, this is a lesbian story. This is either a very effeminate man or a woman that's either overreacting to disappointment or actually depressed. I'm not denying the idea that the character in the game may very well actually be depressed. They're thanking me for playing a game that's meant to be something other than simply fun. Games are not meant to be fun. Games are meant to be engaging and compelling. There's nothing fun about the best games I have ever played. Like Resident Evil. The first Resident Evil is not fun. It's not a fun game. The mansion, the Spencer Mansion. What's the there is no fun to be had in that mansion. It's a constant dread. It's a dark fucking place. Especially if you're as young as I was when I played it. Killzone is sort of fun at times, but the first Killzone, what they said about the Aliens movie, 40 miles of bad road, most shooters are not fun. It's a firefight. You're basically running through the mud. It's a constant struggle. It's not meant to be fun. It's meant to be they're saying it as if this is the first grown-up game ever, and it's just not very good. It's interesting, and I thought about it a bit, and I can tell you where this game belongs. This game is it's not even a graphic novel because it doesn't actually have enough graphics to classify as a graphic novel. But that's the level here. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about the Ren'Py school of thought here. This is Newgrounds material. This is Congregate material. This is not Steam material, and this thing basically was nominated for awards. Here's the website. Best Narrative, Boston Fig. Category winner, Maz Digi. Horrible mention, Zero Game On. Indicates 2014 selection. No. This game is good. It's good. It's actually good and interesting for what it is. But it's not this. Everybody, if there is somebody still watching this, I don't know if I'm going to just upload the whole thing or chop it up into parts. Anybody still watching knows where I'm going with this, because you constantly hear Gamergate this, Gamergate that. Yes, this is so obviously undeserving of what it says on the front page. It's not shit. It just isn't what it says it is. So fuck it. This was my let's play of Depression Quest. Nobody hopes you had fun with it. because it wasn't supposed to be fun. I hope I made it sort of entertaining at least, and I had enough of it, so goodbye Depression Quest, and goodbye cunts. Oh, what? I really want to say something profound. Oh yeah, fuck off.